All right, let's try that one more time. How is everyone?
Andrew, you're
I
muted
can't hear
again.
him at all.
All right, let's try this one more time. Third time's a charm. All right,
Cool.
can everyone hear me? All right,
Yep.
fantastic. Let's try this one more time. Third time's a charm. Hello, my fellow foam flinging enthusiasts. This is Andrew, aka Dart Sweep, and welcome to another foam flinging filled episode of the Foam Zone. Appreciate everyone joining us this evening. For those joining us for the very first time here at the Foam Zone is a bi weekly live streaming interview show streaming exclusively on the World Foam Alliance YouTube channel. If you have not done so already, please make sure to like and subscribe. We just hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, so thank you everyone that subscribed. We really appreciate it. Um, and also, the website for the World Foam Alliance is also now officially live. So if you are a club admin or you have a club, please go ahead to the worldfoamalliance.org website and please register. We have about 500 subscribers that have already registered. We'd love to hit 1,000 as soon as possible. Get the word out there. Get everyone on the field to fling some foam together. So definitely go check out the worldfoamalliance.org website. Get yourself and your club registered on there. Also, some exciting news. As you can see, there is a membership option that is now available on the YouTube platform here. If you go ahead and join the membership, there's different tiers, but this will allow you exclusive access to World Foam Alliance YouTube content shows, gatherings, and things like that. So if everyone donates $1, who knows where we can take this. And again, the whole goal is to bring us all together as a community and get us together foam flinging, which we can only do with your help and support. So and again, thank you everyone that has been a loyal supporter and follower since we started this. Also, I'd like to congratulate Containment Crew on reaching their fundraising goal for their charity drive. I think their goal was 3,000, and they smashed it by reaching over 5K, I want to say. So congratulations to Containment Crew. Excellent job well done. And again, just goes to show how amazing this community is, even after a 24-hour live stream drive that we did here at the World Foam Alliance. Pockets were still deep enough and available for others as well. So thank you to everyone that was able to contribute for all these causes that we had for the holiday season. So thank you, everyone. Um, Let's see, real quickly, Maryland Mayhem registration is open, I believe. So if you are interested in participating in the 3-day event, Friday being the Maryland Foam Tournament, I believe we have all 18 teams now registered. So that will be extremely exciting. Stay tuned for more information regarding that. Also, for the main event, the HVZ portion of the event, go ahead and make sure you register for that, sign up for your safety briefing, and fill out all the proper waivers. And then, of course, last but not least, on Sunday, April 21st, is the 11th hour Blaster Battle Casual PvP. It'll be indoors on one large field, and then on the other field, we will be having the first official BlasterCon, which should be a lot of fun. A lot of your favorite creators will be in attendance, hopefully. So that should be a lot of fun for you to come peruse, talk to people, and check out some really cool stuff that the community is showcasing. So hope to see you guys there at Maryland Mayhem, April 19th through the 21st. And also, of course, Survival Fest. Make sure you guys are staying in tune, in touch with what they have going on. They have announcements regularly being posted, so make sure you are up to date on that as well. Also, our good friends at the Foam News Collective, make sure you check out their last episode. Had a great interview with Al the Geek, was on there as a special guest, as well as their news source shows every couple weeks. So make sure you check out that. And also, I also did hear that there was a teaser for End War this year on their Facebook page. So that's pretty exciting. Really looking forward to attending that again, hopefully this year. Last year was at UNCC, put on a great show. And we actually may be having one of the organizers from last year's End War as our next guest coming up in a couple weeks. So that should be exciting. So let's see. Any other housekeeping things? I don't think so. But question to the audience there. Again, thanks for joining. But have you guys heard any juicy gossip, any news that you would like to share amongst the foam flinging community? Like I said, I know End War teased their theme on their Facebook page, so that's pretty exciting. But if you've heard any other type of juicy gossip or any community news, I would love to hear what you guys have to say. So let us see. I think that is it for introductions. If you'd like to call in for today's show, guest for our trivia, or just to say hi to our guest, we'll post the number down on the bottom or top. I forget where it goes, probably on the bottom somewhere, but we'll post that number on the bottom. On top is what I've been told. So so go ahead and call in if you would like to chat for a second. And also, please share the stream. Please share the stream to everyone that you know, friends, family, and let them know that we are on the air with our guest tonight, who I will introduce. This guest is someone who I had the pleasure of meeting and competing with at End War 2022's Dart Zone Foam Pro Tour Qualifier 4, who also was lucky and skilled enough to make it to the finals round of the Dart Zone Pro Tournament. They are also a fellow content creator that provides some amazing foam flinging content, which we will be discussing in the show. Also, they are the team captain for Team Nebula for competitive foam flinging play, which we will be discussing as well. So without further ado, I would like to introduce my friend and fellow foam flinging competitor player, Kale Cassis, aka King of Games. How are you?
Good, man. How are you? You know,
good to see you. Happy New Year. How have you been?
Busy, very, very busy.
I know.
I actually just recently moved from California to the Pacific Northwest, specifically Washington.
That's exciting. The Pacific Northwest is definitely packed, jam tight with foam flingers between yourself, Xavier, and who else? Luke and Welcome, and all those guys are up there, right? So it's exciting. You're in good company, it seems. It looks like you moved to the right location, at least. So,
right.
Yeah, so we appreciate you coming on, because we know that you literally were just in the middle of moving this week, and you were setting up your office this evening, getting ready for the live stream. So again, really appreciate you coming on. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, we've known each other since 2022. If I do recall, I think you introduced yourself to me when we were at the qualifiers 4. You came up to me and had said, "Hey, are you Andrew?" I think we've interacted on Facebook and online, which is, kind of how this whole thing goes. I feel like it's very serendipitous that you talk to these people, build up a relationship online, and then you get these opportunities, great opportunities, where you have these large scale events like End War, RAG, Maryland Mayhem, Mom Mutation, all these large scale events where we can all get together and actually meet and not only meet but play together. And for me, it's always a trip. It's always wild. It's always serendipitous when an opportunity like that arises. So, but yeah, like I said, I appreciate you coming out. I know you've had a busy week moving and everything. So I hope you're getting settled.
Yeah.
And I will say, at least the lighting looks good. So you got that part down.
Yeah, that's all I had time to set up was the lighting, so it better look good.
So
I maxed all
also
my
at this.
stats on lighting.
Well, it looks good. One thing I did want to do formally was to personally thank you on behalf of the WFA for participating in our 24-hour Foams Giving live stream event that was back in December. You managed to raise a very, very impressive 1.7 so $1,700 in a matter of hours while you were doing your bit. Of course, you had other co-hosts with you. I'm sure that will take some credit as well, but you absolutely killed it on that live stream. And I don't know if we necessarily would have been able to reach our goal of 5K to begin with had you not come in and burnt the midnight oil. I think you came on around 10 o'clock and you were on there for about 3 segments. So that was, like 4 or 5 hours almost.
Yeah, I think I was on there about 3 hours, not including the
3
time I
hours.
was just like driving. Yeah.
Right.
Because when it started, I was on my way back from an event. And so traffic made me late. I had kind of planned to be there right on time, be at my desk, all that other stuff. But, traffic, I was still in the car when my segment started. So, I did that. And then luckily we had a little bit of a cutout and I was able to run inside and set up real quick. And so, yeah, I think about 3 hours where I was actually at my house.
Excellent. Well, again, appreciate it. That was amazing. And hopefully we will have you back again for backup next year. And unfortunately, we're going to give you the same time slot because I think that's where we were able to maximize everything, your potential. So that was fantastic. So Kale, I introduced you, but why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from and kind of what you do.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm from Southern California, born and raised. I very recently got into foam flinging at all. I didn't really get into it and stay in it like a lot of the people did. I didn't even know there was an online community until I was already like a full-grown adult, So in terms of like work and stuff, like I used to work for Tesla for a few years, and then getting out from that, I got an injury, which is how I got into foam flinging, period. Because if it hadn't been for the time off I received for that injury, I don't know if I would have ran into the situation that I ran into that allowed me to get into foam flinging.
And I mean, we'll talk a little bit about that, just kind of how things evolved. But let's talk about that right now. Tell us, how did you actually get into foam flinging? What got you into the hobby, and what is it that really kind of attracts you and draws you to it?
So I'll try to skip over a little bit of the details because if I remember correctly, there is a giveaway and the answer might be coded into that story. So I'll kind of just gloss over it. Basically, I had an injury in my spine at when I worked at Tesla, and I had time off right before Thanksgiving 2021. And so it was about Black Friday. We were walking around. There was a particular blaster on sale for a very, very good price, $10. And I saw it. I wasn't really interested in Black Friday shopping, but I saw it and I was like, oh, this is like a cool thing. There's a bunch of these. And I convinced my family to buy like 10 of them and we'll just like have a war or whatever. It's like, it's fairly inexpensive. Why not? And so we went home, had our war, and then following that, a cousin of mine who was participating in that, his wife's family saw on her story that we were doing this whole thing. They're like, oh, we should do another one, right? And from there, after doing a couple of them, I'm the competitive type of person who likes to get into things. And so I'm looking around and I see a Dart Zone Max Striker. And I'm like, oh, it looks like a sniper. Is it really like better? And so I picked one of those up, and then I started getting targeted ads for the Dart Zone Pro tournament somewhere around the time of like January. So I started hopping online on Facebook, looking around for how to mod stuff and all that stuff. That's where I ran into you on Facebook groups. And then following that, I got an invite from someone in one of the Facebook groups to come play at a local San Diego, club. And then that was my introduction. That was my first game. Was in March 2022. Was my first game with other people that were not my family. And then, some of the things that I really like about it that have really grown on me and drawn me into the hobby is kind of the role play in comp and the silliness of just regular club games. So it's like a really big contrast between those two things, and you really can have it all with this, hobby.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. So you started back in, when the Striker came out and all the good blasters, I want to say, or a lot of innovation was coming out at that point. So you've had the luxury of being spoiled with all these fun blasters that have been coming out lately. What was your experience before that, prior to that, would you say?
My experience with foam flinging?
Yeah. I mean, did you play it all as a kid or?
No. I mean, yeah, maybe I vaguely remember, having some blasters and, when I used to cosplay as like Deadpool, I had, a couple of Nerf blasters because it was funnier to have something that actually shot over something that didn't. But other than that, I really didn't have any involvement in the hobby before I found it as an adult. So, I mean, I might have had a couple of Nerf blasters, but I don't really remember them.
Sure, fair. And so when you started playing, I mean, again, what was it about picking up the Striker or, being able to be competitive in a casual environment? I want to say, what was it for you that really kind of attracted to you and drew you in?
I think the level of like gameplay and agility that I was able to kind of like hone into in some of those like first like because like when I started playing with like my family, it was just the chaos and silliness. But then when I came to like an organized game, the structure, the role play, the parallels to other structured things that I enjoy, like for instance, like video games, the parallels there were really cool. But I got to do it in real life, and that was the first thing. The second thing was the community, because like right off the bat, I didn't know anybody. I was just like online being like, oh, um, where are people? And I didn't even ask to join a club. And someone was like, no, you're near me. You should come join my club. So without even me asking, I'm being invited, to do these things. It's a very inclusive hobby. My first event was actually at a paintball field. It was a Nerf takeover of a paintball field. So I think I got the extra, like, I got the creme de la creme experience right off the bat, because it was a very premium event. And then from then I was a little bit, not spoiled because I love all events, but just like I got a really, really quality taste of what the hobby could be. And then after that, I was like, oh, okay, well, if there's a event that's like not as organized or not as that, I still appreciated it, but I was already hooked on that higher quality level of play. And since I joined San Diego, those guys are very, very competitive already in nature. So I think that and the fact that I was getting targeted ads for this tournament, I kind of jumped straight into competitive before I got to experience the sillier side of Nerf events.
Interesting. And then I'm supposed to mention something about super chats, and I'll be honest, I wasn't listening to the briefing during our pre-production meeting.
I got you.
So Kale will go ahead and explain our super chats.
Yeah, so super chats basically, like, you guys have the regular chat, and you can see I've been trying to pay attention and respond a little bit here and there in downtime. But it's hard because, we're looking at screens, monitoring things. And so what Super Chats allows you to do is to get your comments up on our screen, makes it easy for us to see them, easy for us to address them. I do believe there is some kind of like monetary value for them. And basically that money just goes towards helping World Foam Alliance basically just run these things so, it's easier to put on events and shows and cover some of these expenses because, who are we kidding? Nobody's making money from this. This is all coming out of people's pockets who really enjoy the hobby and providing a service to, all of you guys. And like I said, you can have those chats show up on screen, like I said, which makes it a lot easier for us to read them.
Yes, exactly what Kale said. Yeah, definitely contribute, participate. We'd love to get you up on screen with those super chats. So it was the competitive aspect along with the community. I mean, being inclusive, what does that mean to you? Like, how did the hobby, the inclusion of the hobby, how was that for you, just in general?
The inclusiveness of the hobby is very good for me personally. I feel like, with a few exceptions of just misunderstandings, which I think is pretty normal for people. I feel like pretty much everyone in the hobby that I've met has like pretty much welcomed me with open arms right off the bat. I'm made lasting relationships with people pretty much instantly on contact with a lot of these people. And, Andrew, you're a great example. You know, we chatted a little bit online here and there in some groups. I'm like, oh, I recognize you, and then, we're there in person, we get to hang out. And now we have a lasting relationship that we regularly try to communicate with one another, whether it's in person, whether I'm visiting over there, or it's stuff like this, the World Foam Alliance, the Discords, the Facebook servers still. And so I think that's part of it. But even on surface level, um, people are very willing to help you figure out what it takes to, have a good time at an event because, like as an example, a lot of people show up to these events and they have like a stock strife when the like threshold to have a good time might be, something that's performing more in the 100s in terms of FPS. And usually people will either try to tell you that, try to buddy up with you to cover you to have that aspect, or provide loaners. I mean, that's a very common thing that I'm seeing. And that desire to bring people in and not ostracize them for having something lesser is a great example again of inclusivity.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the, I mean, that's literally the first or second answer I always get when I ask that question. What do you enjoy about the hobby and community? And it's, 9 out of 10 times, it's the community inclusiveness. So, talk a little bit about you. So you said you started off at San Diego. Now you're migrating over to the Pacific Northwest. But just tell us a little bit about the culture and the foam flinging scene out on the West Coast. With the SDNC and other clubs that you've had the opportunity to attend there.
Sure. Yeah. Real quick, I do want to just take a moment. I did peek through the chat, and I do see someone asking, is there a giveaway tonight? There is, and we are not quite ready to talk about the details of that giveaway, but we will talk about it. So stay tuned. And then back to answering Andrew's question. So the cool thing about Southern California is the volume of clubs that are available and the variety of experience that is available to you because of how many clubs there are. There are 4 clubs that I know of that are active right now. The first one is SDNC, San Diego Nerf Club. That is the one that I play with a majority of the time because a lot of my teammates are there, and that's where I kind of got my start. A lot of the events are kind of all over the place. They don't just have them in San Diego County. And the level of play is very, very high. Everyone there is capable, just about of a competitive level of play. Maybe not like, hey, every single person there would get like number one every time. That's not necessarily what I mean, but they're ready to play those kinds of games at those FPS. And I don't know, I'm already getting some Zelkos love. And then in terms of LA Foam Fighters is another one. That club is I mean, let's talk about caps first of all. The current cap for San Diego County Nerf Club is 220 FPS, right? And then you move over to LA Foam Fighters, where their audience is a little bit more staggered. There are some very young kids there. There are a lot of older players there as well. They don't have a cap. It's an uncapped event. And usually people don't bring anything too crazy. So I don't think that they need to have that, but that's an interesting experience as well. It's just the kind of, level of trust they give their players that they wouldn't need to. Another club that I've played with is Lunk, Lazy Uncle's Nerf Club. I think they're by far the biggest club out of the clubs available in San Diego, and they have a very regular schedule, which is really cool. They have a wide audience and a very wide range of games and styles of games. So like there are players that are coming in with, like I said, like those stock, blasters, and they can just run up and, do, with their little stock blasters. And then there are people who come in with comp level blasters like I do. That club used to be a 220 cap, but it's also it's moved up to 240 with a hard cap of 250. So no outlying shots of over 250. And then the fourth club in San Diego, or I'm sorry, in Southern California, is small group Nerf Wars. And I actually got to play my first game with them right before I left, which was cool. A lot of the players come down to LA or other events and stuff, but I never got to go there to them. So that was a cool one. That's a nice little community thing. It's another one that's like in the parks. And everyone there is really cool. I already knew most of them. Stuff, but the variety of gameplay is pretty good. Lunk has a lot more of the sillier stuff, but they also have competitive game stuff. SG is also on the sillier sides, but they're experimenting with competitive. LA is very like club. It's not necessarily silly, but it's club, oriented. And then San Diego is very, very comp heavy, but they still do club level style games.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's very similar to kind of, I think California, you're spread out a little bit more. And here in Maryland, we're a little bit, we're obviously a smaller state. But it sounds very similar to kind of the variety that the Maryland foam flinging groups have to offer their club members, between casual, competitive, and then kind of a mixture of in between, different age groups, different caps, but kind of everyone is in that ecosystem and kind of knows each other as well. So that's pretty cool. I'm always kind of curious. I always feel like Wisconsin, the Wisconsin clubs, the California clubs, the Uno clubs and the Ohio clubs are all kind of these, multifaceted groups that kind of not necessarily work directly to each other, but they definitely coordinate and coexist in that environment, same space. So that's fantastic to hear. What types of, you said there's different varieties of games that are played across those groups. What are some of the game types and what are some of your favorites?
So game types for somewhere like San Diego will include like stockpile, which is basically, because the thing with game modes, which is something I've been meaning to talk about on my personal channel, is going through game modes, variations, names, similar things, and just kind of how to set them up. But stockpile may be known as another name for other people. So I'm just going to describe what it is. Basically, there is 3 hoops, one in the center between the spawn point of both teams, and then one at the spawn of either teams or near the spawn on their side of the field. and there are a bunch of tennis balls or objects in the middle. Teams fight to basically get objects out of that center hoop and back into their own hoop, and the ones with the most at the end wins. You can also steal from your opponent's hoop. That's one that's very like popular at the club. Another one is like another one would be like a comp style. So for instance, an elimination style like hot pot. It has an objective in the center. The objective is to hold down the button on one of the center buckets for a certain amount of time. And if you are shot doing that, you get eliminated. It comes in a variety of team sizes based on the venue, 2, 3, 4, or even 5 players per team. And then it's usually flipped, very similar to like, Maryland Foam tournaments, flag push, where it's like you play on one side, then you play on the other side, and stuff can go through rounds. So that's another popular one. We recently have been experimenting with Nerf ball and variations of Nerf ball. I have filmed 2 videos that have not come out yet. One with rules that I guessed what they would be based on what we knew before Nerf ball was released. And then we played again and tried to play as close to the released rules for Nerf ball. And I got to say, that is one of my favorite game modes now. To play that, it reminds me of Uplink from Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And then another one of my favorites is one that we've been trying to implement at San Diego, but I actually played it for the first time at Baus, which is Bay Area Ultra Stock, and that is Awfuls. Awfuls is one of my favorite game modes. It is such a fun break from that serious competitive, everything's on the line type game mode. It really lets me experience the true silliness of the hobby that I didn't have when I was a child, that I didn't have because I jumped in as an adult directly into the competitive scene. And some of the silliest, most ridiculous things that shouldn't work do, and some of the things that should work don't, and like it's just chaos.
Yeah, I'm always down for a good Awfuls round. I wish we played it more here, but what we do is we do something called silly ammo rounds. So basically any blaster that uses mega double XL, vortex, ultra, just regular sock throwables. I think we even allowed Boomco just because it's a novelty at this point. But we run modded rounds. You can mod your blaster to fire those. They don't provide too much performance, so that's a lot of fun. But I would love to run a Awfuls blaster round here in the Maryland group. What are some of your go-to Awful blasters that you ran or that you run in your Awfuls round? And that question actually goes out for the live chat.
I think we lost him. Did he freeze?
Who did we lose? Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah. So, what is your awful blaster that you would use for an awful blaster round? So, very curious. Go ahead and let me know what your awful blaster is down in the live chat section. Also, friendly reminder to please like and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. We'd appreciate that. And also, please make sure to register on the worldfoamalliance.org website if you have not done so already. Also, if you would like to call in to talk to King of Games, we'll flash the number down below for you. So we would love to have you call in and hear from you. Also, quickly, I see that we have General Strife in the audience, and I would like to congratulate and shout out to General Strife for uploading his first YouTube video. So if you get a chance, go check out General Strife's YouTube channel. I know it's been a long time coming in the making for him to get us content. So congratulations, Strife, and looking forward to seeing some more content from you. So, Kale, let's see. Yeah, if anyone would like to call in, please call in. We'll take a call. At some point, we'll do the blaster trivia question. But let's continue. What are
Before we continue,
you
let's
didn't
let's
answer
throw
your
some.
question.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
did you answer your question?
no, I did not. So, you asked me basically what my favorite offals blaster is, and it really depends on the stipulations because everywhere runs offals just a little bit different. But my favorite is actually anything I can throw,
Yeah.
throwables. I have a lot of fun throwing. Preferably, if I had the choice, I would throw either a Mega XL dart because those just fly so good. And then, of course, the combat axe, the Nerf claw, is probably my all-time favorite throwable because obviously it's a melee and a throwable in one. It doesn't fly straight half the time, which is so much funnier. Ooh, looks like we might have a caller on the line. Let's I don't know. I'm not the man behind the curtain, so I cannot tell you
Oh,
when that's gonna happen.
We have a caller. All right, let's go ahead and take her caller. Hello, caller. How are you? Who do we have?
I'm General Strife. See ya.
General Strife is in the house. How are you, buddy?
General Strike.
Good, you?
Excellent. Congratulations on your video posting. I know you were looking forward to getting something up and sharing that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. I actually missed today's upload because I had so much stuff going on and I just didn't get to edit it yet.
Yeah, that's that. Welcome to life. That's how it goes. And that's always going to be part of the challenge of creating content is finding the time and, being able to actually sit down for a minute to get it done. That's more than half the battle for sure. So, but thanks for calling in. You have a question for Kale, King of Games?
I'm thinking of starting a club actually when I start getting to move a little bit more. So I'm moving literally like right across the street from a park.
Cool.
So what are some things to remember while you start a club?
Yeah, I think it depends on what you want to do with the club. So I think you should start with an intention, Um, and that's a really good question, by the way. Like I could do a whole video. I plan to do a whole video series about this kind of topic. But I think some of the things that you need to remember are that you are in a public space and that you have to be careful for the optics of what you allow at a public space and a public park. So, that means keeping things away from being realistic. And then also just like what FPS you want to shoot at. So like, for instance, if you want to run like a, stock club, the meaning of stock is kind of changing right now because, what we'd consider ultra stock, a lot of blasters are coming in at that ultra stock, but they are technically stock blasters. The other thing you would want to consider is just like game modes, making them easy to enforce or not enforce, but like easy to enact. So like a good example would be like getting a few game modes that are easy to do, like clicker battles, which is like basically the IRL version of team deathmatch. Because clickers are really cheap and it's easy, and all you have to do is bring a blaster, bring your friends, bring some clickers. 315 is another good game mode that's really easy to do. 3 lives, 15-second respawns. Just try to make it, fun, make sure you enjoy it, and then just remember that it can be kind of expensive or easy to go and get expensive stuff, but the hobby is relatively cheap. So don't run out there and get everything all on your own. Start something, make sure you're enjoying it, and then if you feel like investing it, if it's natural to invest more into it, do that.
Yeah, so appreciate you calling in, General Strife. Just so you guys know, I think bots and blasters, Captain Xavier, at the very least, those two have a very good video regarding starting your own club that I would highly recommend taking a look at. It may be a little dated at this point, but definitely some information there that is definitely still useful for sure. So definitely go check out those videos if you're interested in starting a club. Also, of course, the World Foam Alliance is going to be having some resources as well, providing information on how to start a club, get insurance, looking for venues and things like that. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, so I think we have another caller as well. So let's get in that caller.
Have you ever wanted pizza, but you don't like pizza unless it's got foam darts on it? Oh, well, I've got the solution for you.
That voice.
Papa Jolts. All right.
That's jolting. I could tell.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Papa Jolts. Anyway, yeah. So, what's your order?
He doesn't even know. I was eating pizza while we were preparing for the live stream.
That's funny.
Oh, same. I'm eating pizza right now. Anyway, it's got to have half-life on it. You know, I'm cutting back on the calories. I can't be having them full-length darts, you know? I'm still gaining weight.
Weight reduction. Oh, man, I wish we had that photo up of me eating the slice of pizza in a competition. Like, I was so hungry, the bell was starting, and I ran in and I had slice of pizza in my mouth and firing. Yeah.
Somebody just needs to take a photo of them like jamming a slice of like triple cheese pizza, stuffed crust, cheese crust, okay? Jamming a slice of pizza into the magwell of some sort of old Elite blaster. Like just a really old 2000s Elite blaster, just jamming that slice of pizza in there. Anyway. Yeah. So how you been?
Very, very busy. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm moving. I've been driving. It took me about 22 hours to drive here to Pacific Northwest from California. So, yeah, tired and busy. But I'm glad to be on stable, not wheels, and to get out and meet some of the people that I've been talking to online about joining some of the clubs here.
Is your dart team or whatever it is, what was it, Nebula or something? Is that in? Are you guys going to be a Maryland Foam tournament?
Yes, we will be at Maryland Foam tournament. It looks like we'll be fielding 2 teams instead of the 3 at Ragnarok.
Awesome. That's awesome. Man.
Yeah,
I'll be cheering you.
We're gonna be talking about comp play in a few, so stay tuned for that. But Joel King, always a pleasure.
Right, well,
so let's see, where are we? Oh, we still there? You got anything else, Joel?
Yep.
Bye. All right, sounds good. All right, got a lot of calls tonight, so let's go ahead and bring in that caller. Hello, caller. Who do we have? Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you? First time caller. Who do we have?
Hey, I go by Kelly, and I'm down in the Atlanta nurse scene. So we do Impact Art League for our competitive and Atlanta Blasting Club for our club play.
Awesome.
And I had a quick question for Maryland Foam tournament. We'll be there, so looking forward to that.
I was just going to ask, were you going to compete with in the MFT? And I saw that Impact Art League was on the roster. Excited.
We were a little bit late to sign up, but I'm very, very grateful that we've gotten the opportunity to join in. But yeah, I kind of wanted to ask from a training standpoint. We have a monthly meetup where we practice and figure out, field maneuvers and things like that.
Sure.
What are some? Are there any cool big tips that Nebula has really learned over the last few years as the competitive scene has grown from a teamwork standpoint? What are some kind of some tips and pointers for an up and coming team and league?
It's a great question.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, that is a solid question. I do get this question kind of a lot, and it's hard to say exact exactly what your team should do, but I will say that finding other people, other teams to practice against, and to sharpen, iron sharpens iron. That's a saying for a reason. So one of the tips I'd say is like find opportunities to play as much as you can in an environment with other high level players. Like as an example, early, Nebula played against Red Tide often because we were right there in San Diego with them. And iron sharpens iron. When you're playing against people of a high level of skill, it brings up your level of skill with them, and you kind of challenge each other. So I guess like finding maybe a rival team or a sister team or something along those lines would be something I'd recommend. But in terms of specific drills, I think snap shooting and ambidextrous shooting are some of the two like most like quintessential, like they're basic, but they're and fundamental, but they're like absolutely important. Even I'm not very like the best at ambidextrous shooting, but I can do it and I can get tags in that way. And without it, I see a lot of people expose their shoulder, like cross exposing their shoulder to shoot from the same side, but from the opposite side of cover. So I would say work on that. That is a huge thing. And then cover management is like insanely important. My early play was as open, right? So play in the area where there is no cover, run, dodge. A lot of people might be like, oh, that's a skill. It is, but I was covering for my weakness, which was that because I was brand new to the scene, I was terrible at cover management. I had a very hard time like tucking in and doing that stuff. And obviously that's changed now with time, but make your weaknesses your strengths. And like I said, snap shooting and ambidextrous, those are the big ones.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I'll just piggyback off of that just because, I have had a chance to compete for a little bit. But basically, I'll just reiterating what Kale said, get those reps in, just get as much practice in as you can with your teammates. Working on communication, I think is a huge thing, getting call outs, calling out opposing positions, getting to your spots, getting behind a cover, off the break immediately, working on getting tags off the break, and just seeing the field. Like, it's different. It's a different game type when you have certain amount of ammo and time limits and things like that. So just really understanding and being able to understand and have the gameplay IQ, I guess is what it is, to understanding of the best approach of how to achieve, the objective of that game type, I think is extremely important. But definitely getting those reps in, you're not going to beat anything than, just continuing to getting a chance to practice with your teammates. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, this is all great advice. We've got a sister team down in Griffin, Georgia that we usually compete a lot with, and they come up to Atlanta, and we're also planning, this weekend, for example, to going down there and to compete with them to try and kind of, I think one of our big things or weaknesses previously was call outs. So getting that vocal, teamwork where you're actually talking to each other, telling the lay of the land, where the field is, who's moving up, which areas are open has helped us a whole lot in just a short amount of time.
Yeah. And, the thing is, the reality is you can practice all you want, but, game day will show up and everything that you have practiced over the past year just goes completely out the doors anyways. The things with call outs is actually, then this is just a helpful hint, is it's very hard to actually hear call outs and people shouting in that environment. So a lot of like nonverbal hand communications might be something you want to consider looking at as an option, just because you got spectators yelling, you got your coaches and teammates yelling, and it's in a indoor soccer field or arena typically, or outside, and it's just hard to hear specifically, call outs and things like that. But I'm really super excited to see you guys compete. I think Impact was at they had 4 teams they fielded at End War this last year, which was exciting to see. So I'm excited to see you guys all compete again this year. Should be a lot of fun. So
yeah, we're excited to see you guys on the field.
Awesome.
Likewise.
All right. Appreciate you calling in. Kale, should we do our giveaway thing? Do we want to do the trivia question now? Now might be a good time.
I think that if we're gonna do that, we should be, asking for something in return, like maybe hitting that like button, since you want to support the WFA. Let them know that you like what they're doing and that you want them to do giveaways and things like this and have special guests on. So if you guys are appreciating or liking what we're doing so far, smack that like button and let's go ahead and get into that giveaway.
Yeah, so we have 21 people watching according to my tablet, but only 11 thumbs up. So the math ain't adding up. So let's get everyone in here that's watching should hit that thumbs up. That's right. The math ain't mathing. So let's see. So should we go with the trivia question or should we talk a little bit more?
Why don't we tell them what we're giving away?
Okay.
We'll talk a little bit more and then we'll tell them how they can win it.
Okay, that works for me. So we are giving away another DZ Max Solo. I do believe they are back in stock, if I'm not mistaken, back in Walmart. So if you want to grab one for yourself and you were missing out before, go ahead and get you one. It is a very fun plinker for sure. Highly recommend. A lot of fun and mostly HVZ ready. I want to say for most clubs. So a lot of fun. But yeah, so we will shortly be asking a trivia question. First caller to call in to give the correct answer will have the opportunity to win the Dart Zone Solo. So stay tuned for that. So Kale, you go by King of Games. Tell us, what is the story behind King of Games?
So, like I told you guys, I have not been in the hobby for all that long. That name actually comes from somewhere else. If you are a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh, you will recognize that as basically the title or the translation of what Yu-Gi-Oh means, King of Games. Now, I used to play a lot of arcade games, specifically like at places like Dave & Buster's in Round One and like just whatever claw games or like, ticket-based games with some of my friends. And one of my friends that used to play Yu-Gi-Oh with me when we were younger, he still played at that time. And we were at an arcade. I won an iPad there at it was a Round One arcade. And I won an iPad there and I won a few other things, a PlayStation 4 controller, just like really kind of cleaned him out. And my friend gave me that title. He's like, you're the real life King of Games because everything I watch you do, including arcade games, you get good at fast. And then, and that's pretty much it. So that name kind of stuck with me. When I joined the foam flinging community, I didn't know what to call my channel. And I was thinking, and I was like, I don't really know. And then my other friend was like, dude, you already have a name, the name that Alex gave you. And I was like, yeah, but that's like a Yu-Gi-Oh reference. And this is like a foam flinging community, and he's like, it doesn't matter. That's your name. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I ended up creating that. And that's how I got the name. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh reference from when I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh, but I got it because of like, the actual in concept of Yu-Gi-Oh, that person is the king of all games. Jumps in to anything and he can play it.
Now, why did you start your YouTube channel? And just in case you didn't know, King of Games is your YouTube channel. Don't forget to visit, like, and subscribe. But tell us, why did you actually start King of Games? What inspired you and motivated you to become a content creator?
So, I kind of liked the idea of content creation to begin with. Just like I started getting interested in like YouTube, like years before, but like no specific, like I was going to do it. I was like, it's not like I'm going to create my own channel, but I was just very interested in the whole idea of it. And, so later when I went to start my YouTube channel, I saw a lot of the videos being put out for like reviews and stuff. Sorry, the chat has distracted me.
No worries. Do we have any B-roll of King of Games channel that we can roll or anything while we do?
Cool. So, sorry, like I was saying, I actually have no idea or memory of what I was saying. Oh, the King of Games YouTube channel. So I started the channel because I wanted to do something. I actually still want to do something where it's more off the beaten path for our community. So like Nerf content is still, like basically what I'm making, but I wanted to make Nerf content that people weren't really making. And at the same time as that was happening, I released my first video on the Dart Zone Magnum X2. And I was just like, oh, I got to just click record because, if I don't start, I'll never get better. Right. And, but I created it with the idea that I would actually cover more than just Nerf content, but like game content in general. And I don't mean specifically video games or other things like that. And there are a few clips of me doing like some of these arcade, games, beating these arcade games, claw machines, things like that in the short section of the channel, but I do plan on doing more stuff. But what ended up happening is that, I wanted to run more of like a kind of battle universe style, kind of like challenges and us getting to play things together that included Nerf and included all these other things and board games and all this various stuff. But I'm just one person. And as you find, it is hard to get a group of people together to do anything that has the same vision. And so I started with reviews, and I ended up finding my stride in some of these reviews because I started, playing these tournaments and really pushing these blasters to their limit. And as I started doing that, I started finding that there were people who wanted to see people pushing these things to their limits. And that was something that not that I'm well known, but, that's what I'm known for, is pushing things to their limits, showing actual gameplay of these videos. And that was something I was kind of missing when I was watching videos and looking for things. I was like, okay, like it would play like that, but does it actually play like that? Because a lot of what I hear is like, oh, and it would be great if we did this. And I'm like, it would be great in this situation. Okay, but did you take it into that situation? And that was my question that I had. So I tried to answer the questions that I had, and as I find, there are a lot of people with that same question.
For sure. Yeah, I think specifically yourself and Boomstick Mods are kind of the only couple people just off the top of my head that I know that do review blaster reviews, but also incorporate real gameplay, real experience footage with that, which is very beneficial because anyone can kind of pick up a blaster, give its review aesthetically, and just how it performs just right there in the bedroom or basement, but actually filled in it, getting to test it and put it through its paces and stress testing it essentially in real gameplay scenarios is extremely beneficial, and I think is unique to yourselves and Boom's kind of presentation on blaster reviews.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. But it also takes a certain type of personality, to be presentable on camera. What are some of your strengths that you think you have as a content creator, being able to present so well, and provide content that people are going to find interesting and want to actually sit down and watch, past the short format of 15, 30 seconds.
Right. I think there's a couple things that I have for strengths, and like the advice that I gave to Kelly about making your strengths your weaknesses your strengths. I think I've done the same thing. You probably wouldn't guess it. A lot of people don't know it, but I'm actually pretty camera shy, and I've just had to force my way out, and the more I pushed myself to get out there. Like I was very, very nervous to put out my first video. Like it getting viewed at all wasn't one of those situations where someone was like, oh dude, I got 3 viewers and I'm really excited. I was like, oh, I know it's gonna suck and I know it has to suck, and I'm very hard on myself, I think. And so that is a strength in the way that I've used it constructively, to be just like very critical of yourself. in a way that you don't tear yourself down. I think because of that, I've learned to be more charismatic with an on-camera presence, because in person, I am that person, right, that you see on camera. But allowing that person to show through camera is really hard for me. So I think it was a weakness, and now it's a strength of the channel. I think that another strength is just my thoroughness. Like, I really try to get all the different combinations of things. Like, as an example, for like my Harrier video, there was 2 barrels included with the blaster, and there was 2 springs included with the blaster, but you could buy 2 more springs and 2 more barrels. And a lot of the reviews were like, you can buy this, and we might test like one individual combination or something like that. But I tried to get all the FPS for every single combination that I could come up with, because I wanted to let everybody know what they could expect and how they could benefit from these things. And I see people run things that aesthetically, they have a purpose, but if you're trying to run them for like maximum barrel plus maximum, spring, isn't always actually the best combination and stuff. So I think that's another strength of the channel. And probably also just my adaptability. Always trying to learn and grow. I edit all my own videos. There's one exception. There's a video that I didn't edit because I just wanted to help support another, up and growing video editor. So I said, I'll go ahead and, hire out one video just to, give someone else the opportunity to do something. But other than that, I edit my own videos. I don't script anything, which is probably a weakness. Probably takes me a lot longer to do these things. But other than that, in terms of like quality, I'm always trying to up the quality, up the presentation, up the stakes of the testing, try and be more thorough than I was on the last one, find a new feature that no one else finds, those kinds of things.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I really enjoy about your content and presentation, especially on your blaster reviews, is the extra effort and extra steps you take in the editing process. For example, you'll be talking about something and make a pop icon reference or something like that, and then you'll cut away to a video clip or clip art or something like that. But those little touches really go a long way in your presentation, and just adding a little bit of extra personality and fun and uniqueness, I think, to your videos that we don't get in other channels that people may be familiar with. So, like I said, if you haven't had a chance to check out King of Games YouTube channel, definitely check out the channel. Hit that like and subscribe button. It's got some really good content in there. One of the videos, and I'm probably biased, obviously I'm biased, but one video I really enjoyed was your presentation recap of the Maryland Mayhem weekend. I thought that was fantastic. And I would love to see more vlog event style videos like that in the future from other content creators, and of course more events that you attend for yourself. I thought that presentation was fantastic, and like I said, just taking the extra time and effort to put in the extra effort it goes into editing to jazz it up a little bit really shows and says a lot and goes a long way, I think.
I do want to acknowledge some things that I'm seeing in the chat. First is Kelly says, my favorite part of the reviews is when Kale purposefully mispronounces Tachi Mags in his videos. There is a reason I do that. There is a little bit of lore, I guess you could say, around that. So I did not grow up watching, people like Coop or Drac or all those other people because I wasn't in the hobby. But when I joined the hobby, of course, I start seeing these people, right? And so I subscribe to some of these people. I'm like, okay, they seem to know a lot about this stuff, and I need to learn everything kind of fast, and I don't know what blaster I'm going to use, and there's a tournament in 2 months and all this other stuff. So I start subscribing, and then a video comes out for, I believe it was the Tryon on Coop's channel, And at this point, I've started making my own videos, and I'm friends. Eli Wu is like a friend of mine, and when I first met him, I didn't know that he was the person who made the Tachi mag. So it didn't click in my head, but by that point, I was like, oh yeah, that's the same person. We're friends. It doesn't matter. But because of that, I do feel a little bit leeway with getting to do some of those kinds of jokes. The try-on video, Coop is talking about how he doesn't like the longer, I think he called it Taiachi mag. And it just, I'm one of those kinds of people that just kind of laughs at those little things. Like, I make mistakes too, and it's just funny to me. It wasn't like, it was in good taste. So on my try-on review, when it came out, I mispronounced the name of the Tachi mag. It was supposed to be kind of like a little fun jab. And a couple people had, pointed it out. We're like, hey, it's not pronounced that way. And I was like, yeah, no, I know that. Like, the person who made it is literally like on my team. I hang out with them on a weekly basis. I think I know, but that people didn't quite get it. And so now I do it regularly. Tamagotchi mag, Taiachi mag.
Tamagotchi.
All the different ones. So yes, that is an inside joke. I hope to bring all of you guys into that inside joke now, but I don't plan to explain that again for a long time. So hopefully you guys are now in the know, and then everyone joining the channel afterwards will kind of be like, why does he do that?
Well, I'm gonna use Tamagotchi mags. I like Tamagotchi mags.
Me too. Yeah. Sorry, Eli. That's the new name. I don't care what you say.
That's right. Tamagotchi mags come in different colors now. So
someone also said, did I miss? Jangular said, did I miss Comp Talk? No, you did not miss Comp Talk.
We're about to get into it. After
you're here at the perfect time. After this giveaway, which you also did not miss.
That's right. So let's segue into the giveaway. I guess now is a good time than ever. So originally I had this blaster. So the question originally was going to be, what was Kale's first blaster that he ever used? I think I want to switch this up though, Kale. Segueing into Comp Talk. Let's talk about the trivia question being, what was your very first comp blaster that you used? Does that work?
A lot of people wouldn't know that.
All right.
Unless you were there.
Like that. So here's here's what I will say. If you ask the question, what was my first blaster? I have actually said what my first blaster was twice in other streams, once in this stream. I have not mentioned anywhere, and also you could look at my YouTube channel to find out what it is. You know what I mean? So there's a little bit of clues. People can find it if they don't really know. It's up to you, but I think that's probably the better question because there's more clues on what it was. All right, so let's go with that. What was Kale's King of Games first competitive blaster that he used in competition play? If you know the answer, go ahead and call in the number that is magically appearing below as I wiggle my finger back and forth. It'll appear eventually. But yeah, go ahead and call in if you think you have the right answer and enter your chance to win a Dart Zone solo.
So I'll give everybody a hint though. I'll give you guys one hint. I'll tell you what my first competition official event was. And that was the Dart Zone Pro Tournament / FPT 2022 Qualifier 3. That was my first competitive event. That's my clue. That's all I'm giving you guys.
Now, was that the same blaster that you used for Q4?
It was not.
Okay. So there's another hint. All right. So if you have any idea or or you just want to take a guess, please feel free to call in. The number will be down below. But let's get into comp play. So you kind of mentioned it briefly before, but how did you get into comp play?
It was actually a Dart Zone targeted ad. Yeah, that was the first. I didn't even know the level of FPS that those blasters were capable of until I picked up a striker. And I mean, that's still relatively the middle to low end of what blasters are capable of, right? So I picked that up. I started getting some targeted ads like a month or two later. I got an invite to go to, an SDNC game. I met some people, and everyone was really cool. I asked about the tournament, and the response was, "We have a competitive team at that time, and we're not interested in putting any more people on. Sorry about that. It's nothing personal." It's like, oh, dude, I totally get it. I'm a random. You haven't seen anything that I can do. In fact, I don't even know what I can do yet because this is my first event. And so I said, you know what? I'm still really interested in doing it, so I'm going to start my own team. At that time, it didn't have a name. And I started recruiting people, and then I started talking about, so my background before I worked for Tesla was in business with an emphasis in marketing. So my wheels are turning. How can I fund this? Let's talk about like sponsors. And so I think some people saw that and decided that, maybe it'd be an interesting thing to join a team that had someone interested in those things in mind. Because my skill level wasn't very good at that time. I can run fast, right? That's my thing, but I like shooting wasn't very good. I didn't even know what kind of blaster I was going to use at that time. So I was kind of like, oh, I have a flywheel, I have some springers. I really didn't know. So then fast forward about a month, right? 1 month before Q3 for Foam Pro Tournament 2022. We have a team together. We've decided on a name. We've got 3 sponsors. We've only practiced together 1 time. So then we're like going to a field. We're practicing 2-on-2. We're practicing 3-on-1. We're practicing what we can because we don't have all of the members available. Oh, it looks like we got a caller. So we're going to take a quick pause from that. Let's.
We got a few callers.
Looks like somebody might know the answer.
All right, let's see. Let's see what we got. Let's go ahead and queue up our first caller. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Or can you hear me?
We can. Who do we have here?
We have Isaac from the Pacific Northwest. I don't know if
hello,
you
Isaac.
Andrew, but Kale definitely has.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard tales of Isaac.
Yeah, I appear a couple of times on other streams.
Well, we're glad to have you. So you're going to take a guess at what Kale's first comp blaster was?
First comp blaster. I'm going to go with, I'm probably not right on this, but the Max Striker.
That is not correct.
Yep. Had a feeling.
That was that was one of my first blasters I picked up of that power level, but no, I did not compete with that blaster.
I'll be honest though, that would have been my guess had I not known. So
oh wait. Yeah, I think I definitely know what it was now, but I don't think I get the chance to say it. But
all right.
That's besides the point.
No worries. Well, we appreciate you calling in, brother. We'll see you on the next show then on the live stream.
I'll tell you what, though. You have my information. Text me what you think it was, and I'll confirm afterwards if you were right. He might be gone.
Okay, excellent. I think we have another caller. Let's go ahead and get the second caller. All right. Hello. Who do we have?
Also, you said I was Jolt King. I'm actually Monarch. I'm not Jolt King.
Oh, I'm so sorry. And I just saw you this past weekend.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Oh my God, I'm like sweating. Like it doesn't matter if I don't get it, but okay. I was looking through his videos, and I think I know what it is. He said flywheeler or Springer. Oh my God, I think I know what it is.
All right, let's hear it.
Is it the Dart Zone Pro Mark III?
No, that is very, very close.
Oh,
I did use that blaster. at that event. But that's not correct.
That was a good guess though, because
that was a very good guess. You're the closest.
I will say, well, there was a lot of Mark IIIs that were in the qualifiers that were being used for sure. So I brought mine.
Yeah, I brought.
All right. Let's see if we can get the third time's a charm. We have a third caller. Hello.
Hey there.
Who do we
What's
have?
up, Kale? It's Shane.
Shane, my man.
All right.
I got a guess. It was a spaghetti noodle Mark 1.2.
No. The
Ah.
1.2, no. Those didn't even, just for perspective, that didn't even come out until the finals, right? So the finals was the first time that any of us got a chance to do it. So Q3 happened. That was my first event. Q4 happened, and then that event and that blaster came out.
Interesting that all the blasters guests have been Dart Zone blasters.
I did say I got a targeted ad, so that's fair.
That's it. All right. So let's give another. No. Let's give another hint. Let's give another hint, Kale, of what it could be. Something not too obvious, though. Let's make it a little challenging.
Oh, not too obvious. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you that it's been on the wall in my videos. People have commented on how pretty it is, but I have never made a video on it.
That's tough.
That's a pretty good hint. That's a pretty good hint. If you've watched my videos before, you might start to think you know what it is.
Well, while we wait for our next caller, Kale, did you have any prior experience with any other type of foam flinging or blaster tag type of games, airsoft or paintball or anything before?
No, I actually get that question a lot. I've never played paintball. I've never played airsoft. They look fun. I wanted to do it. In fact, when I was a little bit younger, I had bought a paintball marker and some other things on Facebook, Marketplace or OfferUp or something like that. And, got 2 of them so that me and my friend could go. He paid me for his, whatever one. He was the one who's like, oh, I've been paintballing. We'll go. He paid me for his, and then he never ended up going. And I just kind of never did it because I didn't have anyone to go with. And that was that's probably at least 4 or 5 years before I even found foam flinging and stuff. But I never actually stepped on the field or did that. The only kind of thing that I could say is probably related to, or not really like a projectile sport is that I did do a little bit of like parkour.
Parkour.
And I think just running, agility, stopping, moving, things like that, those things can help in the environment of like foam flinging on a competitive level.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, my question was going to be, how would you compare the different projectile sports? But since you haven't played that, doesn't make sense anyway. But what is it that you actually love about, comp play versus casual play or HVZ? Because that's really what you really enjoy about the hobby.
Yeah. Okay. So can you just hit me with that question one more time?
Yeah. What is it that really draws you and attracts you to comp play versus other types? Oh, apparently we have another caller, so let's get that caller in. Hello, who do we have? First time caller.
We have Space Doge 14.
Hello, how are you?
How you doing?
Hey, good. I am
right.
also probably
going
to be very wrong here.
All right, I'm listening.
Okay, I'm going to guess a Nexus Pro.
No.
That is a good guess, though.
That is a good guess.
Yeah,
I did bring that. That's a very good guess because that's one of the first blasters that I brought to SDNC.
Yes, I remember you bringing one of the, I believe it was a camo one.
Yep, the purple camo one. I brought the purple camo one, and I had not a spacer, but the 3D printed solids, like twist spacer in there to get me to like 190s, 200s at my first event. Good guess, but no.
Excellent guess. All right. Before we go back to our interview, Kale, let's do one more hint. Something maybe a little bit more obvious this time, and see if we can get
No, you would instantly get it. Instantly get it if I did something it rhymes with. Okay. Oh God, I can't think of anything that I could say that wouldn't give it away. Why don't we talk a little bit?
When did it come out?
I don't know the answer to when it came out. I don't know. It was before I joined the hobby. I will say this: it is 3D printed. A lot of these guesses have been injection molded blasters, and I totally understand why. Because on my channel, I have an obvious bias towards injection molded blasters, but it was not an injection molded blaster. It is a 3D printed, community designed blaster.
And can we specify if it was a Springer or flywheeler?
Springer.
Not yet.
Springer.
Oh, double hints.
All right.
You're
So
welcome,
if you
chat.
think you
Double
have,
hints.
if you think you have an idea, go ahead and call into the number. So Kale, going back to our interview, what is it that you really enjoy about PvP? About comp play versus casual play or HVZ?
Oh, we got a caller already. Looks like.
Of course, we have a caller, so we'll take that. We'll take the caller.
Hey,
All right.
Hey,
Hello,
what's up?
caller. Who do we have?
I don't really have a call sign, but
Your name
What's
is
your name?
Yeah, what's your YouTube channel? What's your
Yeah.
YouTube name?
Yeah, I don't got one of those either.
We'll go with anonymous.
Yeah, that works, bro.
All right. So, what
I
is
think
your?
I might
what
know
is
what
your
the
guess?
blaster was.
All right. Let's hear it.
Was it the Dart Zone Max Dictator?
It was not. The Dart Zone Max Dictator was not out during Q3. That's also an injection molded blaster.
So we are looking for
okay.
a 3D printed Springer. A 3D printed Springer.
3D printed Springer.
Yes. Unfortunately,
Okay.
though, even if you thought of it right now, you did just use your guess.
Yup.
All right, anonymous.
Well,
Appreciate
GG.
you calling in. Thanks, man.
Good guess, though. Good
No
guess.
problem.
All right. Someone's going to get this. I know this is. This is probably the hardest question we've had on the show. So someone's got to get it, though. I believe in you. I have faith. So, again, third time, a charm. What is it that you love? What is it that you love, attracts you, really enjoy about comp play versus HVZ or just casual play?
I think the parallels to games that I grew up playing, like Call of Duty or Halo, or various things like that. One thing. Oh, and we've got another caller. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Somebody's gonna guess it. Somebody's gonna guess it soon. I have a feeling.
All right, we have a caller. Caller, who do we have?
Hey, what's up? It's Danny.
Pac-Man, how are you?
Hello, Danny.
Doing good. Are we still trying to guess his first competition blaster?
We are still trying to figure out what Kale's first comp blaster is. Do you have a guess?
I think I know what it is, but I could be wrong.
All right.
SBL?
It was not the SBL.
That would have been a good guess, though, because that
is a good guess. And I did use an SBL in Q4 as my backup blaster to the Val M.
But good guess. Appreciate you calling in, Danny.
Fits all the criteria,
All right, let's do 3D,
Another caller.
3D
He's on the
printed
line.
and
He's on the
Springer.
Hello,
So
who are you?
let's. We have another caller. Let's go ahead and take the call. Who do we have? Hello.
Hey, Kelly here. I'm going to guess the Val M.
The Val M is not correct. The Val M is injection molded. It is made of complete Delrin, not 3D printed. I get that question a lot,
that's
but it's
right,
not
it
3D
is.
printed.
That's true.
Yes, the Valkyrie is 3D printed, the design that it's based off of, but no, the Val M is not my first competition blaster.
But that was a
This
good
happens
guess
to be
because
my-
you did use that for Q4.
Yeah, I used it for Q4. I used it for Maryland Foam Tournament as well in 2023.
That's right. So let's go over all the hints again, and then let's give one more final hint if we can, something that people can definitely get.
Okay.
So
All right. So the hints are, it is so it's my first competition
Two callers.
blaster.
Two
It is-
callers.
It is a Springer. It is a community design. It is 3D printed.
and last hint.
And last hint, one that people will definitely get it.
Don't say it. You got two callers.
All right, I'm not going to say it. We got two callers. Let's see if either of them get it, and then I'll say it.
Hello, caller. Who do we have?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Who do we have? Who do we have? Hello? Hello?
Hi. Is this me?
Can you hear?
Yes.
Yes. Who do we have?
Hi.
Who do
Wait,
we-
I'm sorry. There's a delay from the computer to my phone.
Yeah, just listen to your phone. Who do we have?
Hi, this is Eric, Dirty Dart from Uno. I believe the blaster is the Lynx.
That is correct. My first competition blaster is the Lynx. Yes, that's correct.
If we had said 3D printed bullpup, that probably would have been it.
That was literally not to say. I was about to say bullpup. I was like, I'm going to give it away the moment I say it. It's bullpup.
Ooh, I was sweating for that. Excellent job, Eric. Great guess. Fantastic. Go ahead and contact us through the DMs on Facebook or through the Discord to get your information, and we will get your Dart Zone solo out to you as soon as possible. Congratulations. That was a hard-fought battle. I'm very impressed. Excellent work.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
All right. Congratulations. Woo! All right. I feel like a weight has been lifted off my chest after that. That was tough.
I will say that we might as well answer the other question that they were originally going to answer, which is what is my first Nerf branded blaster? And that blaster is the Dart Zone Magnum X2. That was my first blaster. That is the blaster that I bought for $10 on Black Friday in 2021 that got me into the hobby.
That would have been a hard one to guess too, honestly.
Yeah, I figured it would have been easier because it was also my first video on YouTube.
That is true. So, well, excellent work. All right. And then I've been asked to ask Eric the winner for your WFA handle, just so we can get your information. So it's 9:30 right now. I still want to talk a little bit about comp because that's kind of our bread and butter here. So can we roll some comp footage while we just chat? But yeah, so Kale, what do you love about comp play? Do we have other clips too that we can play? Just run through them all. Yeah, awesome. And I think Kale may have sent some other clips as well if you have those queued up. But Kale, what is it that really attracts you that you enjoy about comp play versus casual play, HVZ, or just regular PvP?
Yeah, so I mean, for comp play specifically, some of the things I really enjoy are like the team dynamic, especially with like elimination-based competition, which has been mostly what I've participated in. I like the stakes, but I also like the role play aspect of springers, especially with split caps, of having like a higher powered springer and then a like slightly lower but extremely higher rate of fire flywheeler. And it gives that real sense of immersion of like, oh, that is your sniper class. Because, you know, it's kind of like an internet joke that, you know, there are no nerf snipers, but they're in that game play and in that aspect, you actually really do get to play as like a sniper, because if someone moves out of their cover, it's your job, one shot, one tag, you know, to get them. And a lot of times you play the back line, and a lot of times you play midline and stuff. So I like that role play aspect of the gameplay. But in terms of HVZ, I really like the sense of community and the silliness and the ingenuity that really goes into these like games.
For sure.
I haven't played a lot of humans versus zombies, but I have mostly only played bigger events. So, you know, End War in 2022, the UMBC Invitational in 2023. These are my experiences with HVZ, and then club level HVZ, basically like rounds of HVZ, not full events and
Sure.
stuff. But I really enjoy like the aspect of like dying isn't the end. You know, like you
Sure.
get tagged by a zombie and you get to continue to play because you are now a zombie. So, you know, I think everybody kind of wins because usually it's a zombie victory. Human victories are pretty rare, as it seems. So in the end, you always join the winning team.
That's right. The game is not over until the zombies win, ultimately. So back to comp play. What do you think really defines a good competitive blaster, and what are some of your favorite go-to comp blasters? And that question goes to the live chat section as well. What are your favorite comp blasters to use and why?
Yeah, so one of my favorite blasters to use in competition probably comes as no surprise. I saw it several times in the chat when we were asking what my first competition blaster was, is the Val M, which basically is the injection molded Valkyrie. Basically, that blaster takes a reverse angle Talon mag. So it's not really a proprietary mag, but you can't really use it with much or anything else. So it is a downside, but what I like about that blaster is its, the durability is like a huge component of it. If you've seen my videos before, you'll know that I absolutely, like, if you want to pressure test a blaster, hand it to me, because I will jump on top of it. I will body slam it, not on purpose. I will just play at the level of aggressiveness that allows me to make some mistakes sometimes, you know, where the blaster takes the damage. I actually did a full Superman dive on top of the Val M, and all that happened was the metal stock bent, kind of, and it still functioned perfectly fine. And if I did that with some other blasters, particularly with a lot of like 3D printed blasters in my experience, they probably wouldn't have survived that same kind of thing. And those are the kinds of plays that I'm making fairly often in competition. So that's one of the reasons. The other thing, something that I didn't really like about the Lynx, not that that's not a great competition blaster and a lot of players use it, but there's something about a bullpup, right, where because the nose is shorter, your hand, right, where's the camera? There we go. Your hand and the end of the blaster right here. And that sounds like it would be a good thing because that makes you a smaller hitbox. But what I've noticed is in order to get out behind cover, you have to stick your hand out with the end of the blaster to pass inflatables. Otherwise, you shoot into the side of the inflatable or nick the side of the inflatable trying to get a more accurate shot. And like, as an example, if you have a barrel that's longer, like this one, this is exactly how it would be on the Val M, where the barrel sticks out, has an exposed, non-shrouded barrel area. What I can do is the cover's here, right? I can stick the barrel like this, where only the barrel is sticking out from the cover, which allows my hand and everything else to be much further back. And so even though it's a longer target, something that's harder to maneuver, it is something that allows me to expose less of myself in that situation. The SBL has a very similar form factor, and I do like the SBL. I did use it as a backup blaster in Q4. I do use my SBL even now at like club games. As you just saw, I have a seagull. I haven't yet shown the video for it. But yeah, I also have been enjoying that blaster. It's kind of everything I wished the Harrier was when the Harrier came out. I used to have, I still have it, but I used to use a Swift, and I was like, my biggest thing is it's just too friggin' long. I just can't maneuver it well. I can't move. I remember in a practice jumping up, doing the splits to avoid a dart, and then because of the angle I was holding the blaster, I would have completely avoided it. But my blaster's so long, the blaster got hit on the barrel. And so when the Harrier came out, I saw pictures of it. I was like, yes, this is what I'm looking for. Worker's doing something. It's injection molded. And then I saw a picture of it side by side with the Swift, and I was like, no, it's just as long. So now that the Seagull's out, yeah, that's something I've been messing with a lot. And, I saw someone asking what I'm going to run in Maryland Foam Tournament for this coming year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure yet, but the Seagulls definitely caught my eye.
Yeah, I think.
I should also mention, I don't exclusively use springers. In fact, at Ragnarok, I use the Strife X. I use the Dart Zone Pro Mark III, which was modified with a Banshee cage in Q3, and I used the stock one in the Dart Zone Pro tournament. Strife X is definitely my favorite flywheeler right now.
I'm literally on Out of Dart's website right now, ordering a Seagull.
It's good. It's good. I like it.
What do I need? I need the 370 barrel and the 1.6 spring.
For what FPS are you trying to hit?
I don't know. I just want it.
I would say, yeah, it comes with a smaller barrel, and then I think the second largest barrel it comes with the larger barrel, and that one I think is the 310. So whatever's one up from the 310, I would recommend getting that. Anything over that one, and I don't think you're going to have a good time.
Okay, cool, excellent. Well, I know what I'm doing after the show. So,
250 spring for sure. Get the 250 spring.
250 spring versus the 300.
Yeah, 1.6 by 250. You can get the 1.6 by 300, but I guarantee you're gonna look like Quagmire from that episode of Family Guy when he discovers explicit material on the internet. Because of how rough the prime is.
Okay, and I'm weak to begin with, so noted.
It hurts my shoulder to do the 300 millimeter by 1.6.
All this Seagull talk is I've been meaning to get a Seagull for a while. I wanted to get a Harrier from Containment Crew at N-War, missed the boat on that, and now Out of Darts has the orange Seagull, so definitely I think I may be picking that
the orange looks so good. Trying to do Captain Xavier proud. I also got the black and orange one.
Nice, excellent. So you've had a chance to play a variety of different comp. I guess standard is what we'll call it, standard comp game types between BTA, King of the Hill, Flag Dash, FPT. You said you started doing Nerf ball and variations of that. What do you think? Well, first of all, what is your favorite, or what kind of game types do you enjoy, and what do you think goes into making a good competitive game type for people to compete in a tournament?
In terms of like competition, I think it's good to have a game that allows for opportunities for different types of gameplay. So if it's a really tight environment and it's heavy on respawns, and then it tends to lean towards a one style of play. But if it's like, and cover can make or break a game mode, in my opinion. There's, having no cover or having like cover that just really incentivizes the wrong areas of the field can easily make the game mode quick, long, boring, short. It can do a lot of things. So I think first of all is good cover. And good cover doesn't mean like it's the best for the player to have an advantage. It's the best to make the game mode work. So as an example, if the objective for that game mode is in the center, like it is for Hot Pot or for stockpile or any of those other kind of game modes where there's a center objective flag dash, where you need to go to the center to get to the thing, then there needs to also be some kind of like other incentive or angles on that to counteract it being too easy for someone to get up there, and just run it past, or as an example for Foam Pro Tournament, having like outside middle line covers makes it so that someone can stop a player on the run. There has to be a counterbalance. If there's an objective, there has to be a way to stop the objective, and they have to be of equal or similar value.
Yeah. So, basically you're saying a combination of amount of cover and field layout is super important for specific game types.
Yeah, specific game types. It has to match the game type.
Sure. And again, what are some of your favorite game types, standard game types that you lean towards for comp?
Specifically for comp, I actually really did enjoy Nerf Ball. I know that we haven't got to play it as like an actual competitive bracket, but there's another one that I've been testing in San Diego that I really liked, and that is Hot Pot. So basically we played it in this 2v2 variety in 2 test tournaments that I ran. And what I liked was the fast pace nature of 2v2s. It still allowed for that single life, single elimination, stakes with an objective kind of play. But on a smaller scale, the game moves faster. Things happen quickly. And it allows people to oh my God. Sorry. Chat is distracting me again.
No worries.
Basically, one of the things I like about it is that it keeps a fast pace. And in larger games, it's fun for me as a player to hide into cover and really manage my cover and be taking fire. And that's very exciting for me, right? But as a viewer, it can sometimes be somewhat stale. And so that's one of the things that I like about the 2v2s is it still retains that fun element for me to be shot at and to manage cover and to have the high stakes of only having one life. But it allows the viewer to also get at a faster pace. And people going for the objective to min-max, try and get the most amount of points for their round, just like how it is in Maryland Foam Tournament's flag push, is still present in that game mode. Where the objective doing the objective and eliminating all the players, or all but one player, is better than getting a full elimination.
For sure, absolutely.
My favorite one that I've played in a tournament, though, has got maybe it's just because it was my first one and I had more time with it than anything else, but I actually really liked Send Zone, which was the game mode for Foam Pro Tournament and Dart Zone Pro Tournament. So the objective is just to get a player into the end zone instead of a flag. And I do like the flag. I do think that's a cool element, but I just have more experience with the other version, having played it like 3 times in actual tournaments. And I had a lot of fun doing it. And you can do these kind of sneaky moves because you have to watch everybody, not just the person with the flag.
Sure, absolutely. I have a pretty in-depth review of the qualifier 3, which we both competed in, and we actually came down to sudden death.
4,
I believe.
4.
Q4. I'm so sorry. Yeah, but we came down to sudden death between Magic Smoke and Nebula, and definitely worth watching that video if you guys get a chance to check out my YouTube channel. If you ever get a chance, to watch that.
That was the best. That was the best, most exhilarating thing to participate in as well, because it was like down to the wire. Something like that didn't happen before. And they kept saying, we asked about that situation and it was like, well, if it happens, but it's not going to happen. And it was like, we made it happen. 2 teams of, equal force, just pushing against each other and challenging each other at every single turn, all the way down the line.
Yeah, that was definitely a battle for the ages. So speaking of Nebula, we're running out of time here. I think this might be our longest running show, but just speaking of comp play and your Team Nebula, tell us how Team Nebula, which then ended up evolving to Team Smog and then back to 3 separate Nebula teams. How did Team Nebula, Team Smog, and Team Nebula ABC, East, West, South, how did that all evolve?
Okay. So let's start. I'm just the guy. I want to play in tournaments. There's no team for me. I start a team. I recruit people. That is us going into Q3, right? So that's just us. We're like 5 or 6 people. We have a few people that, between us and Red Tide, who are going to be going and traveling with us to go up to Q3. And then moving from that time into the Q4 and the Dart Zone Pro Tournament finals, which were obviously in the same weekend, so there's no difference really in teams there. I wanted to go, Eli really wanted to go, RJ really wanted to go, and that was all of the people who could really afford to make it work. And we were like, no, we want to do this so bad. We want to participate. And so through some servers, we talked to Zelkos, Jason, about joining, and as well as Piggy, Liza, and Gavin. So that's where Singapore, kind of joins the equation. And at the time, we weren't sure if it was just going to be a team up for that event or if it was going to be something more permanent. We just wanted to participate. This was the end goal at that time. And so once we participated in that, and we got second at Q4, and we got, third overall at the Dart Zone Pro Tournament finals, we were like, okay, now what? And it was like, okay, I think we do want to continue this. So the next thing that ended up rolling around with Maryland Foam Tournament being one of the next big competitive events, nobody but Eli and I were able to make it. And at that time, Jason was still a member of Nebula, but also was doing his own thing and looking to do his own thing on the East Coast because that's where he lives. And so he said, hey, I know is Nebula playing? And I was like, no, Nebula's not playing. There's not enough people. I really want to go. I'm going to go regardless, even if I am not able to compete. I want to go out there. I want to film this traveling for Nerf thing. And I also want to just get out there and meet people and stuff. He goes, well, you know what? Would you consider playing for my new team, Team Smog? So at that time, Team Smog, Team Nebula, 2 separate things. Okay. Then he's recruiting people. He's got Luke. He's got, Beret, who played on
Paradox.
Oh, why am I blanking on the name? Paradox. Thank you. Paradox with him in the past. And so, we're looking for players. Eli at the last minute is like, yeah, I actually can go. So now we're looking at a team that is basically half Nebula already, Jason, me, and Eli. And then, the remaining members, Jed, Brett, and Luke. And Luke is our sponsor already at that time. So it's like he's kind of already Nebula. And Jason said to me once Eli joined, he's like, oh, well, if we had known, we would have just ran the flag of Nebula, not created new jerseys, not doing this other stuff. And I was like, well, it's too late for that now. We're in, we got jerseys, let's do this, and we did it. And afterwards, we all agreed we had a really fun time playing together again. And, we wanted to see what it would look like to do something together in the future. So we got on a conversation about homologating the teams and having members in various areas on the East Coast and the West Coast, and that we would always find members from the pool of members that we have who could go to compete in events in the future. What we did not expect is what happened at Ragnar Oktoberfest, is to have a single event that every member was able to go to. That was never on our radar. The idea was to have a group of people, and then whoever could go, we would make a comp team out of those people that continuously played together and also practiced in their factions on separate coasts and in Singapore. So then we ended up with more than 15 people on our roster, and everyone wanted to go to Ragnar Oktoberfest. That's how we got into the situation where we decided to play 3 teams. The 3 teams, as a joke originally were just Nebula A, B, and C, because we didn't really think of names. We didn't really know how we were going to differentiate it. One of the biggest things that Jason and I agreed on and talked about in terms of our experiences, which made it clear that we had to run 3 teams, was that in Q3, we had 5 members on the field, 2 members who were not on the field for Nebula. And one of those members was happy to make callouts. The other member really wanted to play. And because we were so focused on the tournament and focused on doing stuff, we just weren't experienced enough at that time to remember to switch out our players and to do this stuff. And we really didn't give that person an opportunity to do that. And I felt terrible about that, right? That person spent money, spent time, and traveled with us, spending all the same resources, and they didn't get any tournament playtime. And that was just, it was not on purpose. And so that was something that stuck with me, that I never wanted someone on my team to feel like that again. So going into that and the conversations with Jason, he felt the same way. And we decided every single person who wanted to participate would have a spot on Nebula one way or another. And that's how we came up with Nebula West, Nebula East, and Nebula International. Those are temporary names. Team Smog is like homologated into Nebula, so it's all one big nebula. And depending on the tournament, we may run different names or whatever, or different cells, but it is all of the same pool of players. The biggest thing was inclusion.
Absolutely. Well, that's awesome, and I think Nebula has created a reputation for themselves, where everyone is usually pretty excited to see them compete at a very high level, along with other comp teams. So, really looking forward to seeing yourself and Team Nebula compete again at Maryland Foam Tournament coming up in April. It should be really exciting. And of course, the World Foam Alliance will be live streaming the tournament. We're still working out the logistics of that. So, but that should be a lot of fun. So definitely tune in to the World Foam Alliance YouTube channel. It might actually be streamed directly from the Maryland Mayhem website. But like I said, we're figuring out logistics and we'll let you know. But I think it is 9:55, so we have hit that wall, or we have surpassed that wall actually by a large margin. So at this point, Kale, where can people find you online? Where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on my YouTube channel, King of Games, or at King of Games 234 is like the tag that like YouTube assigned me. If you just looked up King of Games Nerf, you'd probably find me right off the bat. But if you just looked up King of Games, you're not going to find me, because, like I said, it's a Yu-Gi-Oh reference. So it would need to be King of Games Nerf in order to find me. I'm also on Instagram and on TikTok under at King of Game 951. That's a reference to my area code. That wasn't assigned to me. That was actually the names that I chose. And stuff. So King of Games 951 on Instagram and TikTok. I don't post a lot on TikTok, but I'm gonna get back to it. I'd post a lot of Nerf Gelfire challenge stuff at the time. And if you want to see a lot of cringe stuff that is embarrassing for me, I am gonna I'm gonna repost some of that stuff on my YouTube channel, because it's funny, and I love to laugh at myself more than anyone else. But in terms of Instagram, you'll see a lot of stuff, a lot more of in-depth into my personal life, if that's something you're interested in. You know, like when I posted when I was moving, when I was loading up the truck, I posted like what my loadout looked like for my vehicle and, you know, the trailer and everything. And I posted some videos when I was on the road. You'll see a bunch of stuff about Ghost, because I'm an avid Ghost drinker. You know, I got one on me at all times. Oh, you can't see the label. Yeah, but that and you know, some fitness stuff. I do post a lot of my personal training stuff on there as well, stuff. So that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Well, again, really appreciate you coming on the stream this evening. We really appreciate you volunteering your time and being a co-host for our 24-hour Foamsgiving live stream event, and hope to have you back again this year in December, which is going to sneak up on us, as time usually does at our age these days. So
yeah,
looking forward to that.
Yeah, I loved all the support that I received during that stuff. A lot of people donated, and I really appreciate you guys, you know, showing love for a good cause. I don't know if we mentioned already, but during my segment we raised 1.7K for Toys for Tots. So thank you so much. And Isaac actually was the one who won my item, which was the Nebula Edition B car. I have my personal one right here with the shroud on it already. Let's see where the camera is. Yeah, right there, the Nebula Edition B car. He also won a 1-of-1 misprinted jersey from our team. And he also won one of the Nebula hats, which we're reprinting right now. We're doing a brand new set of them. They're on a different hat, so they're not the same as the ones. But yeah, it was a fun time.
Cool. Very cool. And then we'll see you down here with Team Nebula for Maryland Mayhem down in April. Any closing remarks, Kale?
Honestly, just if you feel, I think I'm probably the poster child for it in the hobby, is if you want to go out and do it, do it. If you want to start a competitive team, if there's already teams in your area, it doesn't matter. Go out and do what you want to do, have fun. And if you find yourself in the process to be really good at that thing, or even if you don't find yourself to be really good at that thing, you can always improve, and make something of it.
Awesome. Well, once again, Kale, really appreciate you coming on. Always a pleasure seeing you. Can't wait to see you in April.
Nice.
Make sure if you guys are following the World Foam Alliance, our next live stream show will be next Wednesday at 8 p.m. for another episode of Get Off My Lawn with Al the Geek and our good Captain Xavier. They will be having Containment Crew on as their guest, so that should be a lot of fun. And then the Foam Zone will be back the following week on Thursday, February 8th. With a guest, and I think we are still confirming it, but it may be one of the organizers from from last year's End War to discuss logistics and foam flinging in the HV.